Alright, so this is a video on how to set up PCSX2 version 1.7. So we just want to search for PCSX2, go to the first link, download folder. These are the stable rigs. We're going to scroll past that to nightly builds and click the little window here, and I'm going to want to download the AVX2 widgets version. So if you have an older PC, and it's like 2012, 2011, or earlier, you're going to want to download this version here, the SSC4 version with WX widgets. Just because it's an older CPU, it doesn't have the newer instruction sets, so the AVX2 won't work. So we have our 1.7 downloaded. We want to, if you don't already have it, we want version 1.6 from the Socom community site. So we can click on, so this is like a guide here, emulator setup right here, that option to take you there. Watch on YouTube, how's that? Go to the video description. So we can click here and double click that and download the 1.6 emulator with all our files already set up for us. So this is going to have our BIOS and our memory card that we're going to use to get 1.7 work going. So if this is your first time setting up, you have not set up 1.6 at all, you're going to want to also grab the ISO, which is right here. Just double click it and then double click it again to download it. I've already done it, so I'm not going to. If your 1.7 version you downloaded here does not look like that, it doesn't have a little folder there, it just shows like a white box or something like that, you're going to need a program called 7-zip so you can extract it. So just search 7-zip on Google, go to 7zip.org here, download this first option here, hit download, and click that and run it and install. And I've already had it, so I am not going to do that. So once you do that, you can extract this folder, go to right click it, go to 7-zip and extract files. Hit OK, and then a new folder should show up for you here. We're also going to extract the 1.6 version that we downloaded. Like I said, if you already have 1.6, you don't need to do this part. You should already have this on your computer somewhere. So I'm going to extract that. Alright, so now you have your 1.6 extracted. You're going to use the memory card and the BIOS folder from this one. Alright, so first thing, I'm going to open 1.7. Double click the exe here. So now if this doesn't run, you get some sort of error message that you need something. What you need is, it's called the redistributable files. To get that, go here, search, go here. Scroll down to this little box with the 4 rows here, and we're going to choose this x64 version. We're going to download that. Go through and install this. Run it. I've already had it, so I'm not going to do it. After you install that, you should be able to run the program. One other thing that we need, again, if it's your first time installing and you haven't installed 1.6, you're going to want this NP cap here. This is just Sharp's video that is linked on socomcommunity.com. So you can download that from his video description, auto download. You just extract that and install it. I already have it, so I'm not going to do it. One other thing about that, though, is I've run into where some people have problems connecting with that one for some reason. And what I have them do, go into their settings, go into the apps, scroll down to wherever npcap is, right click it and uninstall. And I have them install WinPCAP 4.1.3, and that has worked for some people. I don't know why. That one works, it connects to the server, and npcap won't. So if you run into that problem, download WinPCAP version 4.1.3 and install that instead of npcap. Version installer is right here. So this is just exe, so you can go ahead and run that and install it. So after you've done all that, you can go ahead and start setting up 1.7. First thing we want to do is go to general settings. We need to set our BIOS folder, BIOS folder. We're just using the BIOS that came with 1.6, so uncheck this, hit browse, go to where our download is for our SOCOM community folder, 1.6, BIOS, select folder, apply, create. Okay, everything else default on these settings is good. So this setting here, I recommend turning down to 0. It helps with input lag. It just feels a lot better in game. Here on GS window, you can change your aspect ratio to widescreen so you don't have black bars on the left and right. Speed hacks, these are recommended to leave what they are, except this setting right here. You want to check that if you have 3+ cores and apply that. Game fixes, we can apply this setting right here. So to do that, uncheck presets, enable game fixes, and check that and apply. Okay. Next thing we want to do is set up memory cards, config memory cards. Right click both of these and hit eject. Now we want to hit browse and go to our SOCOM community folder again and choose the memory cards folder. Now you should get a little SOCOM2.ps2 memory card here from that folder. You can right click that and hit insert card, and port 1 is good and hit OK. Now you can apply and OK. Next thing we can set our graphics settings. So for this, I've been using back and forth between Vulkan and DirectX 3D12. 3D11 works as well. OpenGL, you can just try different ones, see what runs best on your system. I haven't really seen a difference between Direct3D 12 and Vulkan though. Apparently Vulkan runs the best. For certain systems, it's just system specific. You should just figure out what works best for you. Change your adapter to your graphics card. Leave everything else whatever it is, except for internal resolution. You want to up it to generally whatever resolution your monitor is. I have a 1080p monitor, so I just choose 1080p. So if you're getting slowdowns and stuff like that, you may want to reduce this down to 720 or maybe even native if it's not running well. Go ahead and grab OK. Audio settings. So for audio settings, for what I do, I turn synchronization mode to none, and I move the latency down to 3. When I tell a lot of people to do this, though, they start getting like audio distortions. I guess it's system specific. Sometimes it works well, and other systems it won't work as well. If you start noticing things like that, turn time stretch back on and set the latency to 25, and you should be good. Network and HDD settings. Check that. Change this to PCAP switched, and choose Ethernet. You may have more options here. Generally, it's going to be called Ethernet something. Maybe Ethernet 2. You might have like a bunch of Ethernets. Like Ethernet 1, 2, like numbered. To figure out which one, go down to this little computer monitor looking icon, right click it, open network and internet, go to change adapter settings, and then see which one is connected. So you might have like a bunch listed and they have X's by them. That means they're not connected. See, the way this one looks, you can tell it's connected, has internet connectivity after I had double clicked it. So this is the one that I want to choose. Choose that Ethernet and hit OK. So for USB settings, the newer versions of 1.7 have been causing the keyboard, if you set up your keyboard and try to use it in game, have been causing the emulator to freeze. So for now, I recommend setting that to none. But in the future, what you do is change port 1 to HID keyboard, port 1 down here to raw input, and then your keyboard should work in game. But for now, leaving it to none. Now you want to go ahead and set up your controller. Clear all these after you right click. Sort of bind this. So one thing here that can help you bind your controller is if you're accidentally binding your mouse to things, after you move your mouse, it picks up your mouse as that bound, and it's can be really frustrating. So how to not bind your mouse? Go drop down here and choose your controller. I know it's DX wireless controller, and then when you click something and you move your mouse, it doesn't pick it up. So now you can just hit L1 on your controller, L2, and bind all your buttons a lot easier without accidentally binding your mouse. We're disconnected for a second there. Okay, so I want to set up my second triangle. So what I'm going to do for this setup is I'm going to not have L3 bound, so I'm going to delete my L3 bound. And I'm going to hit triangle and hit L3. And then I'm going to click on it, lower the sensitivity to around 0.2, so 0.199 is fine, apply. And then that'll be your soft prone button, and then your actual triangle will be your hard prone button. Another thing I recommend, so click on your stick, one of your stick directions, hold shift and click the bottom stick direction, so you select them all and lower the dead zone to 0. And that lowers your dead zone down to 0 on both your sticks on every direction. If you find your character's like moving on its own, you can go back later and up the dead zone on your left stick directions. Just try to correct that so your guy's not moving when you're trying to stand still. So our controller config is good. We can go ahead now, go to C DVD and ISO selector and browse. And this is where you want to look for your ISO of the game that you downloaded earlier. Mine is on my desktop in this folder here. So I hit open. Now it has the SOCOM 2 selected. So now all we have to do is boot ISO and the game launches. And with the memory card that we use from the SOCOM community download, we should already have the patch installed and any network connection settings are already set up for us. So all we have to do is go online and log in. Okay, I guess that was just some random error. So if you got an error like on the DNS there, and it wouldn't let you log in, you need to run an elf called no DNS that'll bypass the DNS and that'll help you get online. To find that, let me see where that is. File, maybe it's in, no. So if you get running that problem, go ahead in this help section of the SOCOM Discord and just ask someone for that, and they should provide that for you. I don't have a link to it right now. Yeah, other than that, you should be good to go. Go back to your main menu options. I would recommend some things here. Turn your music down so your music's not playing. Like dramatic music's coming on, maybe in a 1v1 or something like that, distracting you. Max out your sound volume. Dialogue and headset don't really matter. Leave sound on stereo. Video, you control your brightness from here, but you can also control it on the server with the circle menu. Leave all of this on, except for head bob, you can turn that off. That's when you go in first person and your screen will bounce up and down when you walk. So you want that off. And then you can go into your controller options here, go to set your preset to custom, and then change your look speed, acceleration, dead zone, all the same like you did back in the day. Control presets, obviously. You can use other settings like sure shot lefty, scout, precision. And you can hold return menu and you should be ready to play. And if you have any problems at all, tag me in the help section in the SOCOM community Discord. It's just at MRV. All right, thanks guys.